Universal Studios announced a change that might affect Halloween Horror Nights forever. There's a new land coming to Universal Studios Florida. Universal just announced the project on all of their social media channels, and here it is. Step into the colorful world of DreamWorks animation in an immersive and interactive new land, coming to Universal Studios Florida in 2024. Next year, Universal Orlando Resort will debut an all-new themed land during DreamWorks Animation's beloved animated characters. The new DreamWorks land coming to Universal Studios Florida is part of a collection of new entertainment experiences debuting at Universal Orlando Resort in 2024. In an official press release, Universal announced that iconic DreamWorks characters like Donkey, Shrek, the Trolls, and Kung Fu Panda will be a part of the new land. With this announcement, they haven't announced any new attractions or any new shows, but I'm almost confident that we will be receiving a few attractions and a few shows with this new themed land. This new DreamWorks themed land will be taking over the former Woody Woodpecker Kids Zone area. The area closed last year to make way for the DreamWorks land, and I'm so excited to see what they do with this. In my eyes, it seems like Universal Studios Florida is receiving the love it truly needs. Earlier this summer, they soft opened the Despicable Me Minion Land, and earlier last week, they soft opened the new VillainCon attraction that is opening with that new land. It seems like the theme park is taking a more family-friendly path. This is now the second initiative Universal is taking to make a more family-friendly environment for younger guests visiting the park. Now, I know this hasn't been mentioned at all by the theme park or anyone in general. I feel like the initiative that Universal Studios is taking will affect Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Florida. If you've ever been to the Florida counterpart of Halloween Horror Nights, you know that they go all out for the Halloween season. From haunted attractions located around the entire theme park to frightening props and scare zones around the theme park, Halloween Horror Nights is not a family-friendly environment. But now that Universal is taking the initiative of turning Universal Studios Florida into a more family-friendly theme park by adding many kid-friendly IPs, it doesn't seem like Halloween Horror Nights will last very long over at Universal Studios Florida. Or if it does, there's going to be many drastic changes. If you've ever visited Universal Studios Hollywood, you know that in recent years, they've been also creating many family-friendly attractions. From The Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash to Super Silly Funland and Super Nintendo World, Universal Studios Hollywood is becoming an incredible family-friendly environment. But of course, in recent years, we have noticed a massive change for our Halloween Horror Nights event in Hollywood. What was primarily affected was our scare zones inside of the theme park. Universal's Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood is known for its incredible and impressive scare zones that would fully immerse you into the story they're trying to convey. But due to Universal Studios Hollywood becoming a more family-friendly theme park, they've shifted away from immersing you into scare zones. We used to have a lot of props and lighting and fog throughout the theme park during Halloween Horror Nights, but because of newer, younger guests attending the theme park and it naturally just becoming a more family-friendly environment, they've stuck away from using more frightening looking scare zone props. I'd imagine that parents would complain that the park looks too scary around the Halloween time, and I feel like that's completely fair. The park is turning into a more family-friendly theme park, and they need to have family-friendly looking areas around the theme park. Inside of the park, I feel like you can't really create props of, for example, a clown chainsawing a person in half in front of kids. I feel like that's pretty problematic, and not everyone handles horror the same way we do as fans of the horror genre. I will say the last time I attended Universal Orlando Resort, it was around the Halloween time as well. I didn't get to do Halloween Horror Nights, unfortunately, but I did get to see a bunch of the props they have for the event, and I feel like based on what I saw, it didn't seem very kid-friendly. I saw a ton of props with blood and stuff, and I feel like if the park is shifting away from that and becoming more of a family-friendly theme park, they're not really going to be able to have props out like that in the open in the daytime when there's families walking around and stuff. So I feel like scare zones will take a big hit when Universal Studios Florida, which it's already becoming a family-friendly theme park, but when it becomes more of a family-friendly theme park. So we're definitely going to be seeing a younger demographic for the Universal Studios Florida park, But I also feel like if they really wanted to, they could also move Halloween Horror Nights into a different theme park. I'm looking at you, IOA. Islands of Adventure is known for its thrilling attractions around the entire theme park, and I feel like this is a perfect environment to fully immerse a guest into a horror event. If you've ever walked into Islands of Adventure, it's essentially the perfect horror theme park. And what I mean by this is the ambiance is perfect to set up fog machines, lighting, spooky props, and the demographic is naturally an older audience because there's roller coasters around the theme park. Not to mention, they've also set up a mini scare zone, a Horror Nights light scare zone in Islands of Adventure before for daytime guests, and those were the Death Eaters that roamed around Hogsmeade. And of course, this wouldn't be the first time that they make a move like this. In the year 2002, Universal Studios Florida announced that their Halloween Horror Nights event will also take place in Islands of Adventure. The event being called Halloween Horror Nights Islands of Fear. The event held 5 haunted houses and 6 scare zones, making it a pretty decent haunted event. The overarching theme of Islands of Fear made the event so great, and I really hope in the future they can bring this back at a larger scale. I feel like that was such an interesting experiment to move Horror Nights over into Islands of Adventure, and I really hope in the future they could do that again, because I feel like Islands of Adventure is the perfect horror theme park. Or it could be turned into the perfect horror theme park event. How do you guys feel about this? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm JP, and that's a wrap.